Okay, Moinak, hand over to you.
Yeah, sure. Uh, just host me, Sunil sir, just give me the permission of screen sharing.
Coming to you.
Mm. Yeah, I mean I can share my yeah network. Okay, fine. So before starting Django, did I talked about the basics of virtual environment in previously? I guess not mostly. So
Yes, sir.
before starting, okay. So before starting Django and all, we will first talk about some minutes of our basics of virtual environment. So first of all, what is the virtual environment and how do we need it? So suppose you are doing a project like using Django or any framework, Flask or any other framework will be there. So when you install Python, like if I show you, when you install Python, you will go there like this folder, open your this PC, then go to your users, then go to your user profile, then go to your app data, then local. I guess then there will be another programs, yeah, then Python, and this is our path at where our Python is installed. Means when you install the Python application from the web, when you download it, install it, this will install in this in that particular directory, and for your current user, it will be executed at anywhere on your location, like any folder. Means either it will inside of your local disk or new volume D or new volume E, it doesn't matter, because if we go your to check the variable path, like you can open this PC, our advanced system settings, our environment variable, then you can see there is a system variables and there is the user variable. So in our user variable, if we check the path, means our which path will be installed, and when we execute any program like any Python program, which path it will be taken, if we check that, you can see this path already been taken, means the path already were installed. Yeah, so this path already installed, so this path already been taken. So for that particular point, for that particular part, because of it, we can we can execute at anywhere of our location, at anywhere of our anywhere our directory or any other also. It doesn't matter, it won't show any error, it will be directly using that part, that particular path, and it will be executed. Your Python like Python code will be executed. That's why when you like suppose you install PyCharm and all, not PyCharm, you install like basic code editor like VS not VS Code, like Sublime Text or normal, just simple your prompt, like our CMD prompt or our PowerShell, any terminal. So when you use this like Python, when you write here Python, you can see it will be directly take us to the Python path, means here, and we can directly write our Python programming code. Like when you are using 1+1, then it will be executed 2, means it will directly check this particular comes to this particular path, our this one. So it will be our globally executable, because within this particular user we are executing that portion. That's why it doesn't throw any error. Otherwise it can throw like the path isn't installed or the path cannot be find, like some Windows error will be there. That's why. So now this thing is when this particular thing is called, you can call your as a user environment. This particular you can think as a user environment. So for this particular user, like when we log in particular login windows using a particular user, so for this particular user we can execute any Python code at anywhere any position of it, so unless we change the user. Apart from it, So this one we can call it as a our user environment variable or user variable. So now, right now, when we need our virtual environment, so or our virtual environment variable, so we need our virtual environment variable because of it. Like suppose we are working with Django, and the version of Django will be we are using is like 1.8. Then our project duration, it will take around suppose it will take 8 months or 10 months, and within 2 months the Python version, the Django version is upgraded, and it will be upgraded to 2.0 or 2.2. Then some of the root file, like some of the closing syntax will be changed, and it will be upgraded to some new syntax there in our newer version of Django. So when you execute, if you did not use a virtual environment, means when you are use a global environment, then after 8 months you need to do another one project like your Django project 2. Then you are using the current version, you need to use the current version of Django, means Django 2.2. Previously you were work on this particular project using Django 1.8. So after this upgradation of this particular for a particular file of Django, then there will be some changes, or some will be changes in syntax, or also some changes in some methods too, or there will be some easier way to implementing because of some changes. So then after 8 months or after 9 months, so when after you start working your new project, after working on new project using the newer version of the Django, somehow like someone asks you to execute your previous folder or execute your previous project for some changes, or so we need some changes because of there will be some other requirements. Then you may face like you will be executing your Django version, and the version will be used at 2.2, so it will be no longer uses 1.8. So your project may not be maybe some smaller issues there, or maybe some bigger issues there, we cannot tell. So that's why we create a particular environment inside our user environment, and within our environment we installed our requirements, like we need to Django 1.8, then we will install this particular environment there. So you unless when you will change it to global one, it don't show any error. You can use other program like other project also. So you can, for this particular project, you can activate your virtual one and you can directly use it. Now how can we use this virtual environment? So you can see that's written here, like if you are using the single global environment, when you are update the Django version, you can break some of your project of Django 1 version. So we did not want all of our project at this point of a single time instance. So for creating a virtual environment, Python has several module and also some built-in one. We can use any of it. Like in Python, there is a one term called VNV. Using this VNV keyword, or using this VNV method, we can easily create one virtual environment. Advantage of VNV is you did not have to install any other libraries or framework. It's already presented inside of a system when you are installed this Python basic program. But there will be some little bit complex commands will be there for some particular uses. Otherwise you can use VNV. And also using like pip command, if you are in front of a system, you can see like using our pip command, there will be some framework will be there. Using that particular framework, we can also use like we can also create virtual environment too. So right now I did not using a VNB module, that's why I am skipping. I am mostly using this particular pip environment. So if you want to see, then in case the time is limited, that's why I cannot see. Like just simply let me explain the simpler VNB module. If we want to create VNB module, okay, so command prompt. Let's start working with some commands. So commands is necessary if you using others platform like Linux, Ubuntu, then it will be very much usable with it. So if I command like pip list, those are the all of the frameworks that I have already installed in my system. Some are will be automatically, some will be the some manually, but those are like you can see Django will be there, Django import export will be there, some using function like dist library, and also like pip and environment. So using this pip command, we will be like systematically executing some other some for environments, also some for others command like some OS commands and all. So using this pip module or pip library, if you go to your Python, like our Python, then go to our scripts, you can see those are the all those framework or libraries we already installed, and also some built in by automatically some installed one there, so we can use it to it. So like I said, the bokeh file, the bokeh script, bokeh exit, this one I installed manually using this pip command. So this one mk virtual environment, this is another one library to create our virtual environment. And by default there will be these three four file pip no this three file pip 3.8 pip 3, and there will be another more, means there will be four or five file will be there inside our script, and we can use using these five files we can install another more frameworks there. So mostly I did not use VNV module, I use pip module. So for creating VNV means we did not have to install any other framework there. We can just using this particular keyword VNV, we can create our virtual environment. And what will be your command there? To create an virtual environment using VNV, your command will be Python -m, then space our VNV, then our env, our variable name. Means if I go there, like cd desktop, you can know because the within the cd command we can change the directory. We write cd space desktop, means it will be written cd space our c, then colon, then slash user slash our username, then slash our path. So by shortly, because of our windows, after I guess after windows xp we can using this particular shortcut format. So cd then our desktop, then again we can create and directory like mkdir. Mkdir command create an directory where we want to create an environment for this particular directory or for this particular folder. So we can particularly like virtual env. We created one virtual for a particular directory there. Then we want to change this change our directory to our virtual directory. So that's why we are writing cd virtual env. And for those who are sitting in front of your system, or if you have some pen paper, you can directly note those command, otherwise you may chance of forget that. So now you can see we are already in this virtual environment folder. Means if I go here, you can see we already created a virtual environment one directory here, and now we are in this particular, this is our particular location right now. Then at here we will be creating a virtual environment using VNV module. If we use VNV module, we need to write this particular command like python -m, then VNV our environment name. So we can write python -m venv, then our environment like env_1, right? So it will be just take 30 seconds to 1 minute, and it will be start creating one environment will be there. So I guess it's already created here. Let's go here. Yeah, you can see the environment already been created. This is our environment. You can see these three directory like include, lib and script and py.cfg. Those four module already been presented. You can see those four module. They look, the include, the lib, the scripts, those three module, and py means that one we that will be executed because we created a virtual environment there. So this three directory we already presented in our root file, means in our globally one or the user variable one, and similar type of folder already been you can show here like include, live and scripts. Here means we are created this environment one, means this our virtual environment, this directory as our environment. So whether in this particular environment, when we install some framework within that particular version, it will be affected within only this environment. It won't be affected like if we change something using our user or globally, then it won't be affected our virtual one, means our locally one. That's why our local environment is important, or virtual environment is important for creating some project. So before you will start, like you will start doing any project, and especially using web framework like Django, Flask or RESTful APIs, this must that you should, or also for others domain like web scraping, data scraping, then also for those particular where the framework will be totally open sources, so within like 1 month or 2 months you can see there will be some changes within our framework. So that's why we are creating our virtual environment for using or for starting our particular project. So come back to our virtual environment. So that's how we created this virtual environment there. Now you can see there is no virtual environment showing, means the path will be, if we write where python, you can see the our globally one, means our user path will be all user path only mentioned, like our c user and our c user, means the app one files. So only these two particular paths will be mentioned here, not the virtual one we already created. Means here we already created this one, this particular file. You can see this virtual environment, this one, this path isn't visible. You can see this path isn't visible. That's why we need to activate our virtual environment first before working it out. So how can we start that? We can start that by calling this particular activate.bat file. You can see this particular activate one batch file, this one, this activate.bat file, this bat file will be activated your environment, your virtual environment, for VNB module, for using this VNB command, this activate file. So if we write now where if we want to check there like how many files or folders already presented inside our folder, we can using this command dir. If we execute this dir command, you can see that our env1 env underscore one, only this particular directory exists, mean this one. So I need to go inside of this env1, so we can activate our activate file, or we can give our path like env1 scripts, then activate.bat. If I copy that file, copy that folder directory, and paste it here, we are already in virtual environment. So we did not have to write all those things already presented like users, our desktop, and we only writing those path already we want to go through. So env the scripts, after we execute that, we can either we can go through like cd space env1 then execute, then again cd space our scripts file, scripts directory, then execute. It will be doing the same things accordingly. If we give the particular path or particular directory, and it will be executed. Both will be doing the same. So now we are in our scripts. We are in our scripts directory or the scripts folder. Now, if you want to check how many folder or how many files or folder will be presented, we can comment dir, as I said before. You can see those all those files like activate.bat, deactivate.bat, or easy install this pip command pip.exe. You can comment using this pip module to installing any framework or other operations also. So to activate this particular environment, we can write activate.bat, means this command will be executed that particular file, like activate.bat. Now you can see this is inside our bracket. This is written env_1, means our virtual environment is activated here. So inside our env1, means this particular file directory, we can start using our as a virtual environment. Like we can start working from here, this particular environment, by creating other directory. Like if we want to if we want to create another folder to start project, we can create a folder like project1, and we can start working through it. So those are using our VNV module. You can see using this VNV, we create that one. We can change the directory. We can using this script activate bat to activate our virtual environment. Then and one more thing, like as I showed before, when we commanded where python, where is it? Yeah, where python. You can see there will be the two directory presented. Our user one, like user file, user app data to our programs, and user app data to our local Microsoft one. Now, if we comment where python, you can see there is three directories, like those user command, those user one, app data, and our another local one, like desktop, then virtual environment scripts, that python.exe. Now we can work through it. Those we can create a virtual environment using VNV module, and also to deactivate this particular environment, we can command like deactivate this deactivate.bat. I could not remember. Mostly using deactivate command, it will be deactivated. It's not changing now. Okay, no issues. So for normally I did not use a VNV module because
Sir,
yeah,
excuse
yeah,
me, sir.
yeah.
Sir, that spelling you are writing wrong, sir. That deactive you are writing. It is deactivate. Deactivate.bat.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. Deactivate. Yeah. Now you can see that the our means virtual environment isn't activated. You can check like where python. You can see that our this file will be presented, the virtual one that as we created, and our like this same. And how can you indicate that our virtual environment is activated or not? You can see by using this one, like our virtual, when we activate our virtual environment, then within this bracket the virtual environment name will be presented, like in environment one will be presented. So that's how we create a virtual environment using env module. And if we remove that directory, I guess rim dir, first we have need to back up from that folder, cd spaces. Now if we check dir, yes. So now if you want to remove that one, that's an rm dir, then env_1, and we need to, I forget that one, we need to inform you, means when it will be removing this env1, it will check either the any directories are present or not. Like if we enter that, you can see that directory is not empty. That's why it not yeah, the directory is by automatically it won't be removed it. That's why we have another command, I guess rm dir, then slash s, yeah, rmdir, then our slashes, and now it will ask either you want to remove or not. If we yes, then you can see, like if we check that, you can see there will be no directories presented there. Your virtual environment will be removed. So that's how we created using a vnv module. Nextly, mostly I used pip environment module for, or pip, that two majorly used nowadays. One is pip environment. Right now, if I shows you, one is pip virtual environment using this particular command, and also another one is pip environment, pip env. Using those framework or those libraries, we will be creating virtual environment. And what is the advantage is to using this particular command like virtual env and pip env, both two are more easy to use as compared to vnv module, because there will be some complex of commands when you are using some advanced part. Otherwise, more or less 90% will be similar. And that disadvantage of this all, like virtual env, virtual env wrapper, pip env, those will be, you need to manually install those frameworks. Like for those who will be first time using python or first time using python programming, then if we write cls here, it will be clear, all of your codes are written there, so it will be totally cleaned. So for those who will be totally new, using this pip command, as I said, we can install any framework, or we can do other operations, other such advanced operations there also. So for right now, if we want to install any framework, we need to write pip, then space, then install, then our framework name. Like we want to install virtual environment, then virtual env. If we write enter, it will be start installing, as I already installed there. I did not update that function because of my current project. So that's why you can, so this message will be displayed that your version will be available, and you can update it using this python -m pip install, then upgrade slash dash upgrade, then space pip command. So it already presented. Now if we want to check how many frameworks we already installed inside our system and inside our for this particular environment, we can write the command pip list. Using this pip list, we can check, we can get the listed uh, elements of all the frameworks you already installed, or some manually or some automatically. So you can see those are already I installed here in my system using this environment, means our user environment. It's not in my virtual environment. When you use the virtual environment, I will see you in a minute, that you can see there will be like one or two by default framework will there, otherwise you need to install it manually. So by all of those things, I installed it for my current work or previous work also. So you can see there is one virtual env wrapper dash win, this one. Those all those framework will be used for your creating virtual environment. Now we want to create a virtual environment using virtual env, and that's more easy or more useful to write. So cls, now we want to we are in virtual environment. There will be no directory, you can see there will be no directories there. So we can create a virtual environment here. We can command like virtual environment, virtual env, then our space, our environment name. So env underscore one. So it will be created a virtual environment. you can see that created in virtual environment, and other some advanced information also be there, like here setup tools is bundle, pip is bundled, so wheel is bundled. Those will be when you are doing like Python developer, full not full stack Python developer, Python as a software developer. When you are developing software, those term will be important for you. So you can see also package like pip 20.2.2 version. Those three packages, pip package, one package will be there, setup tools package will be there, and this wheel package will be, those three package already installed inside our virtual environment. So right now if we want to activate our virtual environment, we can use the same command. For here virtual environment, we did not have to write the extension like .bat. It will be automatically taken because it's advanced. That's why we want, if we want to install our activate our virtual environment, we have to go through scripts file first. First we go our environment, where we go inside our environment, cd our environment one, then our scripts slash activate, means we go here, we go in this particular data. You can see the environment one is again created is in this environment, and there will be, there is one thing is missing, like only leave and script, because something is not required here. So is instead of scripts, you can see there will be much more packages will be presented according to VNB, because we are using this virtual environment. So some additional framework or additional packages already be installed here. That's why you can see this is our batch file. This which batch file we want to execute for activating our environment. This activate.bat. So when we comment like their activate dot scripts as activate, it will be activated here by using this bat file. Now we are inside our virtual environment of env underscore one. If we want to check using pip list which package already installed, you can see, as I told, there will be three packages. One is pip, one is setup tools, one is wheel. So for your requirement or for your needed, you installed as which particular version of a particular framework you needed, you can install it by there within our environment. Like if you want to install Django here, we can start writing like pip install then Django. It will be downloading Django and it will be installed there. It will take 1 or 2 minutes. Yes, here you can see some those are already came like Django admin application, Django admin Python file. Those are already came when we installed here. So after we install Django, you can see pip Django. Oh, sorry, to check I Django dash B. I guess Django dash admin. The this command will be, we can check the particular version of our Django environment. I could not remember right now. It was either Django admins dash V or Django admins dash dash version, I guess. Just ignore it now. So as you can see, we are already installed Django here. That's important. Like you can see, we already installed Django here, and the another some additional framework or some package installed here, like pytz, as I told you, the SQL parts. This is used for connecting your database inside of your Django there using Django. And ASG, this one I will be explaining what is ASG. So this is how we can create a virtual environment and we can use through it. So after that we installed Django here. Now we can start working using Django. So before starting our project, before I talked about Django and all, to create any project or to start any project, we need to create a and folder where we start our Django project file. And for that, we when we start our project, we need to command it through to our Django that we will be started a project file here. Then what Django will do, Django will provided some built-in modules, some built-in libraries, and some built-in Python file, some settings file that will be necessary for your project, or some when you are executing your project, or some modification of project. When you're implementing your project to the server, those files and folders will be necessary for you. That's why we need to command it through Django. So our Django will understand that we want to start a project file here. So for that, we will write Django dash admin, then our project name means project underscore one. You can get any file name there, Django dash admin, then our project file name. Oh, sorry, I need to write start project. So it will be indicating as a our project will be start here. Then start project or project one. Yeah, I missed the O here. Very nice of you. So you can see this particular project file here created, and inside here you can see some file presented like manage, and say this particular some init, sg settings, urls, wsgy. Those will be those things we will be using here, and those file will be helped out through our implementing or some modification or creating our project file. So now let's start talking about our Django. So I guess in virtual environment part is clear for you. You need to install. I suggest you do not use VNV module. That's older one. Used virtual environment or PEEP environment by using install. You can install this keyword using PEEP install virtual env, or PEEP install PEEP env, and then we can go through like skips that's activate, and for ppnb will be the same. And for virtual environment wrapper, what it will be, it will, the difference is it will wrap up your environment. So the script file means, I did not create it here, but if I show you, if we created this there using this env1, if we created one virtual environment using virtual environment wrapper, then those file like libraries, those entire file would not be visible, would be shown here for this particular time. Those file will be presented inside your system one, so it will be looked more neat and clean. Means I guess I had previously when I worked through it. Users here. So when you use a virtual environment wrapper, it will be created here. Those system like Python file will be presented inside our user path, and you can use, means your virtual environment isn't fixed for a particular directory or particular location. Means the difference is, like suppose when you are using pip env or virtual env, this env only can be executed or only can be activated when we came through this path, this particular path. Then we have to activate there using this script dash activate. Then this virtual environment only can be activated only for this path. you cannot access this virtual environment when you are using the path outside of the folder or outside of anywhere. You can only create your virtual environment or your project or anything document is here. But for our virtual environment wrapper, it will be already means your system, like your project file. You can create your project file, you can do use a particular directory, but your virtual environment wrapper isn't fixed. Means if we create another file, like even when we create another directory here, like here we created env underscore 2, then inside here, if we write like we want to activate our virtual environment using the when we are creating the virtual environment using virtual environment wrapper, if we activated that, we can still use our virtual environment here also. That's the advantage using virtual environment wrapper. So according to your preference, which one you needed, you can install it there. That's why when we create install any virtual environment wrapper here, you can see if I we need I have if I show you, I have to okay, okay, let me show you through. So cd, what is our desktop, then env underscore 2, then I guess pip install virtual env wrapper dash win, means our system operating system windows. So yeah, you can see that already installed here. Now I forgot virtual environment. 1 minute, let me see. Virtual environment wrapper. Those. Then there will be some command like activity with them. I cannot remember right now this one. Work on, because I there will be some drawback here, like we cannot use through our scripts file when you are using our project. That's why I did not use this open or work on virtual environment. This is not it. So I did not use this virtual environment wrapper because I cannot access through easily when we are working project file. Those source file like some scripts file, some library files. That's why I because when you're using this environment wrapper, we have to every time we have to go through our C drive, and then we have to access through like we have to find through it where it is presented, the script file will be presented here using our user data. Then we have to for this we have to manually iterate through it. So I did not use this virtual environment wrapper. I mostly use virtual env or ppnp. It will be more usable. At you can see if we need to changes any, if we need to access through any script file there, we can just go through these scripts and you can see all those things will be presented. All those framework or packages already installed will be presented here. Like I installed Django, so you can see the Django admin, one application file and one Python file will be presented here. That's why I mostly used ppnv and virtual env. So I guess virtual environment is clear for all of you. If you have any question. So let's talk about Django before starting on. As in our first introduction class, as I shows you this particular figure, like how our front end and back end technologies work. As I told you that urls.py, views.py, those models.py, our database, those term will be we can practically viewed now this time. So how the front end and the back end technology works means when you insert any URL in your browser, it will directly map through our urls.py file. It will be checked through it either you are correctly written this url or not. Then it will be directly take you to our function file where you will return the code like our views.py here, where you will write the code what to do with this when you are asking this particular path. It will take it through either models, or it will be directly give you a response. So for most of the time when you create a website, it will be directly gets you through the models. It will check this particular it means when you type an IP urls, it will be pointing through a particular IP address that we want to get that value, or you want to get the data from this particular IP address. So it will be goes our models, then it will be directly checked in our database system at which particular address you want to access there. Then it will again came through our views.py file. You can see the graph. Then you can directly see inside our browser. Means when you write www.facebook.com, it will be directly goes through our views.py. Views.py told it to like here, yeah, in our database there will be there will be some IP address of domain like facebook.com. It will be checked through it and sends all those data to our user display. Then the pages came like facebook.com login page, home page. Those particular information we want to access through, means a user want to access through. That's why after that those home page will be came through as a template using this front-end technologies or front-end applications like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or advanced like Bootstrap and all. Then you can request any method, or you can request any data from it. So this is how Django work inside in our backend. So now what is Django? So yeah, you can see that Django is a free and open source framework. It is you can see that we already installed Django there. We did not have to cost through it, or we did not have to buy any software because to install Django or any framework. Because it's free there and it is open source. So by user have permission to access through any platform anywhere of it. And also one advantage is, if you want, you can also develop modules for Django. Like when not you have to professional, but like when you become a when your skill level will be developed greatly, you can also contribute your own approach to our Django framework. Means suppose like this how the Django will work. There will be some codes that we want to execute when you are using the Django. So suppose you go through it and you develop one more module by yourself, and if you want to contribute that, so because of this your open source, you can give your particular module or the particular package to the Django, and all over the world anyone can use through it. That's why the language or the syntax or code will be written, the script will be written is very much easy according to others backend technologies like PHP and all. And here for Django we are using mainly Python. The major Python and OOPS concept only needed for accessing our Django file. So you can see for the Django nowadays mostly start implementing, means the full stack nowadays mostly start implementing through the Django, because the connection, not only the connection between our database to model or VSG, all those method, not only that connection, but our connection to other framework like JavaScript, Angular and all, some framework built in, some APIs. For some APIs like different website has different APIs, like Spotify has Spotify API, YouTube has YouTube APIs. Different APIs will be there, and the connection between those part will be very much easy when you are using the Django. So as if I told you the history about the Django, you can see that Django is developed way earlier, when like 2003, when Python um, merely used that time. You can see that in 2000 it is developed, but the popular is only when getting after like 2013 or 2014, the popularity of Django will start gaining. So as because at that time there will not much framework, or so not much packages will be presented at that particular time. That's why when you implement it, or you can work through it, you will be stuck. Like for some cases will be limited, where your user access will be limited, and also your workflow will be limited. But after that, when there will be module, like too many open source module will be already presented, you can already access, or you can already install through in your system, and you can access through it. So it will be very much useful nowadays. That's why after that Django will be start implementing majorly in different field also. So not Django is not only used for your uh, web, means building this full stack career. You can also see that for our data science career also, we also need a not very great knowledge, but also some basic to basic to advanced knowledge of Django. So like when for this data science field, we need to access through some server data, means when you are using those technology like server scraping, web scraping, then we need those some techniques using the Django and all. So Django will be like Python also. Django will be start implementing in two or three fields, or two or three domains too. So and one more thing, for Django, for learning Django, or you if we go through it, like any YouTube tutorial, any study material, any courses will be there. Any I can guarantee you that any courses isn't best for you to learn Django. You means when you start working with, you may see that there will be some portion or some part will be missed from this particular tutorial, or some particular material, or some courses. Because that's why when you start learning Django, you can go through anywhere, but always remember you need to follow our Django documentation. So Django node documentation is only way that, because it's an excellent basic tutorial, you can thoroughly go through it for this for learning Django, or for using it. That's why. Then as I told, those part will be covered. Now we already installed Django using pip command. You can see you can using start, like when you start project, we can using this command Django admin start project or project name. Now if I talk through it, like why Django is majorly has advantage nowadays using, that's why the Django is now implementing in full stack too, because it solved two major problems. One is it allow us to map requested URL, means the request URL you already written through it, you can map through this requested URL from a user to that particular code, means particular module, not only your database. Using this views.py, you can mapping through at any any particular code, I can say, or any particular module, you can mapping through it, so it will be directly render the data or the information from there. And also most probably if we need to access through the database, then you can map through it to models there. And one more advantage is you can insert, have you heard about the term dynamic HTML? HTML dynamically.
Sir, yes, sir.
So means using that Django, you can insert your HTML dynamically, as you can insert some calculated values as well as some information form dynamically through an HTML template or some HTML form. Those are the some advantage when you are using Django applications. So right now, after we start using this, when we create an project like Django dash project, you can see some major file like init.py, settings.py, urs.py, and wsgi.py, and our manage.py. And you can see the directory would be look like inside our project file. You can receive the directory like one is the manage file be presented, and those all like ASGI, settings, URLs, and WSGI. Those file will be presented there. Now the you can see for this init.py, if we check this is the size is 0 bytes, means there will be no code written inside of it. So why we needed init file here? In simply we can tell that init.py, it will be treat your this particular directory, this project underscore one, as a package. So we can either import any module, is any module, or we can export any module from it or through it. We can work through any particular function or any particular class, any particular block of code by importing any module to our currently working there. And also we can like dynamically change through it because of this init, the basic init Python file. And then our settings file, there will be some basic settings will be presented. So for our project settings, that will be our needed, like some path file. If I and before starting, I mostly use VS Code for when you are using Django or Sublime Text. Those two major code reader I mostly use. So either you can work through it VS Code, or you can work through Sublime Text. Both are equally good, but one advantage of VS Code is if I write, and for those who want to install it VS Code, you can write VS Code editor, download. Then within this URL, let me separate to you. This is the website where we will download our VS Code. And for Sublime Text, Sublime Text, yeah, I found it. So this is the website you can download from the VS Code, and as well as or Sublime Text. And I am showing you that what is the advantage and the disadvantage of using. There is no advantage when we will use using VS Code. Only some, because of VS Code is already connected to your Git account, or you can directly upload it to your Git account. Some cloud-based application already connected through it. That's why VS Code is one major advantage. But somehow when you are using VS Code, then you can also face some kind of problem, means when there will be bugs in your server, or there will be when you're executing one file from a server, if there will be bug presented, those silly thing, the VS Code will be throw errors like problems. Sometimes your extension cannot be connected to your server. Those small problem will be there because there will be so many things already connected using VS Code. So this is how it look like when we are using VS Code. Then how can we start it? And our this sublime text, and for sublime text you need to do like there is some built-in tools, the build system. You can see the build system already those terminal already there like Python, C++, Java, and also your front end part also. You can also create some new build system here, and you can paste the root file or the code through your web. If you need to Python there, then some, like if you want to edit, like I did that, file settings. Those are the packages that I already installed, like terminals, anaconda file. Those are the packages. Like those will be the small settings well that we will be used. And sublime text, you can paste your Python file here through your internet. You can browse through it. You need, if you want to use it. And for Python or for Django, it is already there. You did not have to install anything. Like your tools, then build system, then you can select our Python 3 or Python 3.8. Those Python terminals and terminals too, those I using by new build system and manually build there by pasting some codes. But you can use like already we installed 3.8, that's why it's showing the 3.8 and 3 Python 3, and you can use through it. And to install any packages there for Sublime Text, you can write Control Shift P, then install, yeah, install packages, enter. Then the packages will be there. Like if you want to install anything, like if you want to package any HTML or anything, that will be there. That's how Sublime Text work. And for Django will be automatically same. Those will be some extension. This will be some extension that you some like you need to install Python there for your, if you by default did not install the Python, means your system, if you did not install Python there, you can also that install extension of Python here also, your VS Code. So when you use VS Code, it does not need your Python file from your globally, means the global install. You can also install through it here also. And some code like some theme kit, some snippets file, those will be some advantage when you are working. Now let's start working with our folder. So our open folder, then we go through PC, so enter desktop, then go to virtual environment. Then this will be start as our project folder, and we'll working. You can see those files will be present. This is our project file. So this is how we can use the terminal. So one major advantage using VS Code is VS Code has already terminal presented through it, means here you did not have to install any package or anything to access through your terminal. You can just you can go through your terminal, and your new terminal, speed terminal or show terminal, means your terminal will be shown. You can set multiple terminal also, like one is CMD also be there. If you want to set another terminal for this particular directory, we can change according to our package, means CMD. I already Python installed here. That's if we command Python, you can see the terminal change it to Python. And when you used it, when you install VS Code, you will first show by default your PowerShell will be terminal selected as a default. Just change it to CMD as command by CMD, then you can work through it, because some command will be different for uh, for only few, some commonly defined for CMD as well as some PowerShell. So exit from our PowerShell. You can read it out.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sir, in Visual Studio Code, how to change this PS like PowerShell to command prompt? What's the command?
Uh, Actually, when you first used it, I already say settings through it. Means my by default already came CMD. We have to go through like terminal, then also configure tasks and configure default bit tasks from there.
Oh, okay, sir.
And you did not
Okay, fine, sir.
PowerShell.
Thank you.
PowerShell. I means I did not use also CMD. I did not use through also. I used one file that is CMD here. This one. So you can install it CMD here. It will only take 100 MB or 2 MB, 200 MB file. The advantage is CMD is not installed inside your system. It is implemented. Means when you run through it, the application only run. Means if we go to our control panel, you can see no CMDR file is there. According to our name, you can see no CMDR file is there. Okay, so it does not take you only take when you runs through it, then you only take the memory, otherwise it does not use it. And CMDR is your advanced, like you copy paste it, you the command base look different and much better than user or default command prompt. That's why I use CMDR. And even also in my Sublime text, I already uh, packaged through it CMDR by some pasting some codes. And also you can use Malik means for my Sublime text I did not use CMDR. If we execute an Python file, then the terminal will be our CMDR for my Sublime text. So
So you have integrated it.
yeah, I have integrated it.
How to do that?
If you want,
In Visual
then
Studio.
I
In
will
V
provide some file and some tutorial how can integrate it.
in VS Code, how to integrate it? Which is
I did
CMDR.
not use I means I only used VS Code for this particular my last two Django project. Otherwise, I did not like to use to VS Code. I like Sublime Text because Sublime Text it looks like more complex using VS Code as compared to Sublime Text. Sublime Text means more cleaner look, and some file settings means uh, if your program some advanced console will be there when you are using VS Code, but in Sublime Text also the advanced audio you can go through by root directory too. So you have like 100% access through it when you are using Sublime Text. That's why.
Okay.
And like for VS Code, when you are some bugs will be presented in our it is downloaded from our Windows, sorry, Microsoft. It is from the Microsoft Corporation. So there will be some bugs already be presented. You can see when you are using it for project, there will be some silly error will be throughout, like your extension stopped working properly, stopped working, and some settings file will be overlapped there, like that. That's why I did not use VS Code. I mostly used Sublime Text. The VS Code one advantage is the terminal is presented here. You did not have to write any terminal, or like for Sublime Text, I have to use another terminal here. But the output of the VS Code, it's so for Sublime Text, I will be receiving from the command like CMDR. There will be some edited through it, like I
My,
told you.
press on this side.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah,
have a question.
yeah, yeah.
Is VS Code
Hmm.
having features live server to run? So we can test directly like real scenario.
Yes, yes,
Sublime
yes.
text allowed.
Yeah,
Sublime text having such
Sublime
feature.
Text does not
No,
have
I
uh,
not used yet Sublime
mean
text. So I'm
Sublime
asking.
Text does not have much feature, but like for our particular application, you can see there will be tremendous amounts of packages will be there. Like
Okay.
you can see like ASCII comment snippets, some color scheme. Tremendous amount of packages will be there according to our necessary. Like for our Git access, I used one like Git also, like GitHub tools. This one will be very much handy, and you can see this start installing. Here also similar thing. There will be some extension, but extension is limited when you are using VS Code. And also like when for those people when you are using web server, if you studied AWS or Docker, then this Docker file will be important. The Red Hat Junior Red Hat file for example. If we use VM machine for accessing, because the thing is when you are using code, the basic necessary is you have to get a good understanding in Linux machine also, because for you can see the developer one, for those who were high end developer, they mostly did not use Windows, they mostly used Linux. For basic learning they start from Ubuntu, then they will go through like Linux Mint, then advanced Linux work. That's how they will work, because Linux is a command based platform, and some developing part like some execution and all those will be very much usable, and like some bug free will be there, so bug will be more presented when you are using Windows. That's why. So I would suggest you for first time you used working VS Code, because you did not have to like configure any more thing. You can simply install and you can access through it. The terminal will be there. The if needed the Python extension, then only Python will be installed. Otherwise, you did not have to install Python. The terminal will be there. As you all if you already installed Python in your system, then it's good. Then we can start to work through like open folder. We can select our environment virtual, as I guess I already selected here also. Yeah, I already selected our this one will be our project file. Like our project file will be there. There will be we can see like the our settings.py, the py file that we want to edit, our editor here. There will be our terminal. So that's why the all-in-one package will be there when you are using VS Code. It's already installed. But for using Sublime Text, you need to manually configure some paths, some areas, so you can easily access through it. Means you need to go through some tutorial for using, and for some basic shortcut keys or shortcut commands when you are using Sublime Text. As I use Sublime Text for many time for my project, that's why I am very much used to using Sublime Text. And I integrate always like when which particular package I want to use, then either you can integrate, or when if you install it in Sublime Text, you can manually configure also there. Here also you can also manually configure with going through settings, then our settings, then our JSON file, with JSON file, then edit settings in JSON. Those will be all the settings that we want to want. Like as I said that install, I already installed period on IU. That's why pylint underscore Django. Those things will be already you can user editable settings will be there here. And in settings there will be another one like uh, oh yeah, edit settings schemas for the schemas there will be the settings. I for me it is it's look like when you goes through inside in VS Code for some configuration, it looks a bit complicated as compared to Sublime Text. That's why I prefer Sublime Text for my uses. Okay,
Okay.
forgot that part.
Oh,
Just
got
give
it.
us a moment. Let today isn't much time with that. I guess within next week I will be completed give you the tutorial how to build an web application using this Django file. So let me give you some basic idea the what this keyboard the file will be presented when you are start working Django. Like I said, the init.py you can see zero line of code will be there. So as those are what I said, those are the basic constructor. So that it will be treated your file, this project underscore one, this file as your packages, so you can implement any code like inside our necessary one will be, there will be some uls.py, some settings.py. You can already using those settings or those some particular block of code you can implement through anywhere of your location. That's why the built-in init file will be there. Then it comes here like settings.py. Now settings.py, your basic settings already will be presented for your basic project settings, your Django settings, it will already be presented. And for those who will be learning through the Django, I suggest to go through documentation. Now, for going through documentation, I will ended up by running through a by connecting through our server using Django. You can see, means the advantage of Django is we did not have to use any server. By default, it already be presented like using our manage.py file. We can connect, we can directly give the response to our browsers. That's why we did not have to connect it. I did not I am not aware of using uses of other web technologies like PHP or any jQuery sublet, because I did not use that. I only use Django here. So here you can see that our settings file, there's one, this base underscore dir means at which directory we want we currently work on. You can see the code is not familiar with you, as you will always use like command, means the directory will be written like slash our here the directory will be written like c slash user name, then desktop, then the folder at which we are working, then our particular project folder name that we are going to use. But if we use Django 2 version 2.8 or Django 2.6, the pathlib isn't bit invented at that time, or pathlib module isn't used at the time. That time they are using OS module only to connect it through your directory. Means within, when I start working with Django like 6 or 7 months before, then that time Django will using 2.6 or hardly 2.7. I don't remember 2.6 or 2.7. That time there is the no module of pathlib will be using at that this previous time. After that, when Django 2.8 or 3 came, then the path module implemented. Uh, I will search through it next day. If I get that file, I will show you that what there will be some changes just using 4 or 5 months of updating the Django previous to the new module. There which type of changes will be done there. So mostly your syntax, if we learn through like after Django 2 version, then our syntax will be 95%, 90 to 95% will be the same, unless using some particular block or some particular module. So after that, we did not use OS here to join through the defined path using our OS directory. We are using base path using this path function. This path, then underscore file. It will goes through your which file you are currently working, and this will function as resolve.parent.parent. So one more advantage of using path is it will also like if we are we are currently running this file like this project file using our Windows system. So if we want to like if we want to change the directory, means I totally compress this project file and send it to you, then your path file, or like you are using Linux terminal, then your OS file also be changed there. That's why then at the time we need to configure some basic settings to easily run through our project file. That's why this settings.py file came. Here we can modify some settings. So that time we will be join our base file to our template directory, at which directory our others template will be presented and all. Those will be some part will come in next day. But just now, if I told you through words, then we will be connecting those all those directory using just some syntax or some commands. So either any system, any OS, any operating system will be there. It won't be bothered. You can just run through it. That's why this base directory and this path love this path, those path will be connected there. Then some secret key means some encrypted key will be there. We can also, you can see that debug will be true. Then the installed apps means when we install Django, there will be some built-in application already be installed, like some web pages, some database means Django by default using database SQL3. I will see you in a second. Some web, some application, some web application, some database, and some models that can be already installed when you are start project we start working with our project. So those are already the installed apps. This is as admin. I'll see with them what is the admin application that by default Django already take through. Some authentication, some content type, session and messages and all those static files. Those will be the some installed apps will be there. There's some command like middleware, rootware. Those will be the templates. Means templates here we can refer through HTML or HTML templates. So we need to provide the directory inside our dirs that will be so when you are you work with our directory of template. So when you are implement through our server, it won't throw any error. So that's why we will be mentioning through it, and we can use like next day when you will start working through the command properly, then you can, it will be easily to understand for those who are new, that how can we edit the templates, how can we join the path to our OS1 so it don't throw any error, how can we access through this particular template folder, like that. Then our those WSGI, I will say you know what is WSGI. Then our database, you can see that within built-in there is SQLite 3. So SQLite 3 is already been presented when you install Django. This using Django, if we for a small purpose, we did not have to change our database. SQLite 3 already been presented. So for if we need to like working a huge for building a huge application, then we have to use like MySQL workbench. We have to connect MySQL workbench here. Therefore there will be some code. Means yeah, the code will be look like engine equal to MySQL database. Then the directory name means here using because of this path function, we can just simply write base directory then slash our dbl SQL3. This path will already be joined through it because of this path function, the path lib function. Then our others like user ID, password, our root file, our address, some subnet address. Those address will be we have to mention when you are connecting a new database there. Then some authentication process. Those will be used for validating the passwords and the authenticating our when you are, this term will become when you are using validation technique. Okay. Then you can see that our language code is English, the time zone and all. And lastly, the static file. Static file means here we will be taking those CSS file, any image file, any media file as a static file. Then we need to provide the URL at where we are through accessing through it. That's why Django will take the join that file using the path, and it does not, it would not throw any error. You can directly the uh, image or any style sheet will be reflected through your browser. So those are the basic settings.py file. Mostly we will be editing like when we create a new application, then we have to add it through here, installed apps, those things. We need to add our template directory here, directories. We need to add databases here. If we use another by means manually, if we want to change the database to our MySQL database one, or some MySQL or MS SQL, some Oracle database, then we need to provide the necessary information inside this particular block of code, and some static URL with that. And for your guidance, as I said, there will be some Django documentation. So this is yeah, this is a Django documentation where you may not find for like if you when you are working through any project, if you stuck at anywhere or you need any information to get through it, just come here to Django documentation. Within this part 1 to part 7, you can search through, and there will be linked keyword, that which keyword if may find some useful information from here. So as I said, the documentation, if I go through like overview illustration will be there, some part 1. Yeah, dash version will be there, Django dash version. Check, I forget that one. So like I create in project, the creating file, then those will be some project file, init settings.sgy wsgy file. Then our server, at which server will be work through. You can see that the manage file, the manage.py file, those the management file will be code to connect it through your server. So that's why those file already been presented. You did not have to manually configure through it. Then those will be some commands like change port. Those are advanced ones. You did not have to use it for basic application building. For some advanced, some creating polls, there will be some so many things will be there. So those are our Django documentation. Just follow through it if you stuck anywhere there. So then come here is urls.py. So you can see in using let me post it. So in our urls.py, you can see that the URL patterns list routes URLs to views. For more information, please just document this in Java. Means when you write any URL, I will give you the example within a minute how you can write it. So when you write any URL in your system or in any browser, then this URL like www.facebook.com, then www.facebook.com after HTTP will directly comes here, this path pattern, and after it will came here in this path pattern, then it will be checked, means this string file or the path will already be written here, and the path will be written in the browser is either same or not. If it is same, then it will we can address through the next command, means where we want to map through it. Like I said that Python we can the URL will be in this here well, here. After that when you request an URL, it will directly comes to urls.py. Then we will be pointed views.py. Views.py come later. And first urls.py. This is here. So that's why when you write any URL, the URL will directly comes here in our urls.py, and here we will be comment through at where we want to map through it. Here, if we write like that, the path admin will be there. If we write admin, then our admin.site.urls at where it will takes through, like that. So that's why URL file will be present. It will be it takes the URL or the string representative you already written inside your browser. Then it will be directly comes here to urs.py, and it will be mapping through it at where you want to do. Like if you want to import any function, then we will use the include keyword, and for that we want to implement through it. Like we will be written later when we will start working or start
हो गया खत्म
creating. Yeah.
कितना रन बना
Oh, so when we'll be creating the application, web application, then you can see that when you use this, you include keyword, this one. So it will be directly import, or it will be directly mapping through at where we want to go through, or the particular information we want to source inside our browser or the template there. And then so yeah, this WSGY, this one basically act as a web server, means the web server gateway interface. That's why it's called WSGI. Mostly, for basic purpose, we did not use that. It will be directly give you like your module. Our environment is set it like project one dot settings and the module. So basics
Mainak,
settlement is
I
yeah,
have a question.
yeah, yeah.
Is this WSGI.py?
Hmm,
This
hmm.
file is working as a CGI bin like web server. CGI
Yeah,
bin.
yeah, yeah. You can say that. You can work like CJ server. For our normal uses, we did not modify it until we will work through like for still now I did not modify this wsui.py. It will be directly act as a our web server gateway interface, means where it will be settings through it, and it will be
Sir, excuse me.
yeah, yeah,
Sir, this is only applicable when we want to host the application like on Python anywhere or on something or GitHub social or this one Heroku. Then only we use this one. WSGI.py.
yeah. Means I did not modify it for our kind of. For now, I only build those applications and all like that.
Yeah, yes.
Then our manage.py, this particular one, where we want to build our own app, then our uh, which command like to server to run a server, and also many commands will be there, not only the run a server. There is some many commands will be there. So if I comment it here, like this is our directory. So let's go in there. Now we are inside our this file, project file, this one. Then to run the server of our using the Django domain, we write the command python manage.py or run server. Now you can see that our give the messages like 17 unapplied migrations. Migration will become later when you are start working with models of the migration work. Means for migration you can simply take if you simply words like the database, how to work with the database, how to connect the database to the Django, means it will be allow us to move the database from one design to another design, and also it's reversible too, like that. Like you want to edit any field or any field of a particular model of your database, then we need to use this migration and all. So the changes like if we are created already one database, then you changes some changes there by manually. It means after creating one database, you can you for our requirement you will change or some modify some particular field of this database. Then using this migrate, the changes will be reflected to our database system from the model. Then we use this migrate command, and the migration term will be key. It will become the later on. For basics, now you can see that our written like Django version, and it is using settings from project one settings, and it will be starting the development server at this URL where it the server, yeah, is that particular server is present, and we can access through the browser, and then we can run it, means, and where this link will or follow us through. If we goes there by using control click, then you can see, because by default the Django basic the home page will be reflected, because we did not we did not create anything, or we did not modify anything. Because that's why by default what will be there, the Django official homepage will be reflected to our application. Means you can see that right now we already successfully connected Django through our database, as well as our burger as well as our web server also. That's why when we are commanding through the run server, then our server will be run. So this is our basics idea, how can the Django will be connected and how the app will be work on. So I guess the time will be there. So to build our application, then we will be created some application there. I did not want to start now because today is not, I did not have much time. So next day I will be start creating app, and then I will be shows you how to connect, how to create that app, and how to connect it to our template file as well as our model file. So you can give any data, means you can enter any data in our HTML file, and the data will be totally reflected inside your database file or command file. Or if there will be time, then I will shows you how can we dynamically created the HTML snippets, and the HTML file will be send it to our browser in front of our users. So the data will be dynamically thrown through it, not statically present. So next day I will start from this, how we can create app and how we can create like basic connect to the database. The data will be sent through. So afterwards you will be created web application using through it. So anything, any doubt?
No, sir. All clear.
So means that I cannot, if I start building apps today, then it will be take another 2 to 3 hours. That's why I cannot start. So those are the basic terminology. You can, if we have like, if you want to go through like, you can any confusion, you can go through the Django documentation for it. Then how, because when we created one uh, Django application, there will be some built-in function, like as when you create a Django project, some built-in file will be there that will be useful when you are implementing your project with. So what will be your views.py, models.py, what will be your test.py. And one more thing, as I told you, I forget that. So as I told you here, small here, as I told you that when if I write admin, then it will be goes through our admin.site.events. Now by default this site this path will be presented. We did not created any manually. It's automatically already presented as a default there. We can use through it later. So if I go here, write admin, you can see that after
Sir, we have to create super user first, sir.
I know I did not want to show it, so then I have to create some. That's why I did not
Hello.
show it. Next day when I create an web application, I will thoroughly see you how we can create means connect all those models and how to send database, how can access to the database and all. Because some people are totally new here. That's why. So for those who will new, you can see that our basic data link will be stored http 123 to 8080, our local server. You can see that in our web browser, the local address will be presented. After that, we are writing dash admin, means it will be directly mapped through here, admin, and it will be mapping through our admin.site.urls. Now what it will take? If I go right there, dash admin, enter, you can see there will be the one application already presented. Now you can ask, like, we did not have built any applications there, how it will be presented. So it will already present, as I told, by default. If I go here, settings, mm, yeah, you can see there already one application presented, that is admin. That's why you can go through it, see through it, and all those like auth, content type, session, those already application exist. You can through it when you are using Django, and by creating start project, those will be defaultly created. So those are the these are the basics of Django, how you can install the Django and all. You can use through it. And this is our, we are not creating any username password, like we can manually also create one login page. If we will have time, then I can show you how we can create a login page and password, and also how can we send the data dynamically through our template, in our template. Doing that. So I guess it's better if we stop here for today. Then from next day, I will try to cover at least so I cover those all basic topics, so you can by yourself build a small web application within by yourself. Next day I will discuss through, and for those HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you can go through some web tutorial or some courses, because here we are mostly talk about the backend of our sites or of our database. So for today, any question?
Okay, Moinak, thank you
Yeah.
for actually today. Actually, I was busy with the others activities.